So what we have here is a 20-page document. It is from Michael Cohen. It is reportedly, by all accounts, his prepared opening statement today in the testimony. So
he says he's ashamed. He's ashamed of his failings. He's ashamed of his weakness. He's ashamed of his misplaced loyalty. He's ashamed of the things I did for Mr. Trump. I'm ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts. I'm ashamed that because I know what Mr. Trump is, I'm quoting, he's a racist, he's a con man, he's a cheat.
And that's kind of the setup of it. I guess you can. Why don't we go through each claim?
Sure.
And
sure.
Maybe you can tell me, Glenn. Do you think this is going to be effective with the American people? How do they react to this?
Yep.
All right. I'll go to. Let's start here. He first starts off with the BuzzFeed report, which was about how Michael Cohen was told specifically from Donald Trump to lie to Congress. Cohen refutes that at some level. He says, Mr. Trump did not directly tell me to lie to Congress. That's not how he operates. In conversations we had during the campaign, at the same time I was actively negotiating in Russia for him, he would look me in the eye and tell me there's no business in Russia, and then go out and lie to the American people by saying the same thing. In his way, he was telling me to lie.
Well, I believe that to be true, but I don't think the American people are going to care.
And this has already come out, right? Like we know that he said there was no business in Russia, and he did have the signed letter of intent. That's all come out. So,
is there anybody? I mean, when people said, "I'm not electing a pope, I'm electing a president," yeah, what you were really saying was, "Look, I know this guy is dirty, but I don't care."
The New York real estate business is known
right.
for
It's shady. It's dirty.
Yeah.
So I think to me it matters. Okay, but it mattered during the election. Americans made their choice, and they chose to go with a guy who they knew was shady.
It's been priced in, right? On Donald Trump.
So I don't think this is going to matter.
Okay. There were at least a half dozen times between the Iowa caucus in January 2016 and the end of June where he would ask me, how is it going in Russia? Again, insinuating that he was all over this the entire time and then lied about it. But again, that's kind of what we know about that. Another one that's interesting is he says, you need to know Mr. Trump's personal lawyers reviewed and edited my statement to Congress about the timing of the Moscow negotiations before I gave it, saying it was not his own lie, but the lawyers actually, were part of this. He's essentially accusing the lawyers of intentionally lying to Congress as well. They're approving his statements. He says, again, to be clear, Mr. Trump knew of and directed the Trump-Moscow negotiations throughout the campaign and lied about it. He lied about it because he never expected to win the election. He also lied about it because he stood to make hundreds of millions of dollars on the Moscow real estate project. Anything new there that you think would be impactful?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nope.
Okay.
You're the one who raised your hand. The other attorneys did not. Mm-hmm. You raised your hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He says Trump never expected to win the primary, never expected to win the election. The campaign for him was always a marketing opportunity.
I agree with that.
He also says that Trump would often say the campaign was going to be the greatest infomercial in political history.
I agree with that.
But again, not impactful, I don't think, on the administration in any way. He says, I knew early on that Trump would direct me to lie further to further his business interests. I'm ashamed to say that when it was for a real estate mogul in the private sector, I considered it trivial. As the president, I consider it significant and dangerous.
I don't believe that at all.
This is the type of thing where you can't believe Cohen at all.
I don't believe him at all.
Lying is his first language.
Yeah.
Okay? His first. And he has no credibility. You can't, when he has these little moral moments throughout this thing, I don't take any of that seriously.
Nope.
I think right now he's decided this is the thing he wants to do, which is, take down Donald Trump with some things that may be true, some things that may not. The bottom line is, though, that's his motivation now, and it should be seen through that lens.
This is a mobster that would say, when I was killing Vito the Shark and Tommy Knuckles, I didn't have a problem with it. But as soon as I had to kill, their wives, well, then I really had a problem. Look, killing is killing, man.
Right.
Killing is killing.
Mm. Tommy Knuckles. I like that. Okay. A lot of people have asked me whether Mr. Trump knew about the release of hacked Democratic National Committee emails ahead of time. The answer is yes. So this is another one where, this has been one of the big accusations. Is there any evidence to this? Here's what he says. In July 2016, days before the Democratic convention, I was in Mr. Trump's office when his secretary announced Roger Stone was on the phone. Mr. Trump put Mr. Stone on the speakerphone. Mr. Stone told Mr. Trump that he had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange And Mr. Assange told Stone that within a couple of days, there would be a massive dump of emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign. Mr. Trump responded by stating to the effect, "Wouldn't that be great?"
I believe that.
You believe that happened?
Yeah.
Now, whether Stone actually talked to Assange, we don't know.
Yeah.
He could have easily been puffing up his chest.
Because
and being
Stone is a
important.
liar.
Stone's also...
Stone is a guy who...
Stone is Cohen.
Stone would lie to Trump to raise his position in the organization. So I don't know if Stone is lying or not. He may have. He may not have. But I do believe that Donald Trump is the guy who would have gotten on the phone and with Stone, and he would have said, "Hey, man, I just talked to Julian Assange, and I can't give you all the details, but something's coming out on on Hillary. Wouldn't that be great?" And that fits what happened in the timeline. It fits with him. Remember the press conference he gave? He said, "Hey, some things are going to be coming out." Remember that? In the last few days, things are going to be coming out. So, yeah, it looks like that. Also, it fits to me. Remember, the only thing at that time that Trump's team, they say not Trump, but Trump's team, and I believe this between Stone and Manafort, it may have just been Trump's team, and Trump just saying, "Hey, just take care of this. Let's just make sure we're friendly." Remember, the only thing they cared about in the platform was going soft on Russia's policy for the Ukraine. You remember?
I do remember that story, yeah.
And so that's all happening in the same week that this is. Is it going to matter? No. It didn't matter then. It won't matter now.